What a magnificent car that is. Well, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel, and today we are at a very foggy Loton Park for the VSCC Speed Hill Climb down in sunny Shropshire. It's, well, there's no sun at the moment, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all burn off fairly quickly. We're going to have a quick wander down to the paddock. There's a few minutes to go before the first run start, and hopefully it'll be an interesting day. Lots of vintage cars we've seen already here. There's a little Austin 7 Special tucked away on this trailer, still to be unloaded. So that's all quite exciting. But yeah, this is a really excellent event. The Loton Park venue is used for various hill climbs throughout the year, and the VSCC come here once a year. This is September 22, just for the record. There are always lots of interesting cars in the public parking area as well, including this Turbo Esprit. Look at this wonderful Riley hill climb car here. Big supercharger hung out the front, SU carburettor feeding it. Wow, that's quite a bit of kit, that is. Still covered in the condensation, the morning dew. Won't take long to burn that off once they start running up the hill. It's a really neat little car, that is. This is, I think, for pressurising the fuel supply system. We've already got several Austin 7s here just waiting for their moment against the stopwatch. The sound you can hear is not an Austin 7, it is a very noisy Land Rover Defender. Magnificent pre-war Lagonda. A magnificent Vauxhall, graced with huge brake drums on the front. What a glorious car that is. Of course, VSCC stands for the Vintage Sports Car Club, and the club was set up many decades ago to champion pre-war motoring, or specifically motoring of cars up to and including 1930. You do get a few later cars being granted access to these competitive events, these hill climbs such as here at Loton Park, but primarily it is cars up to and including 1930 that feature in these particular events, and you always get a huge turnout of really wonderful cars. Over here we've got the Edwardian Car Paddock, and this is where some of the mighty aero-engine monsters park up, and they'll be taking part a little bit later. This appears to be based on an Oakland, an American maker. So a quick look at the dash. There we go. What a machine that is. No creature comforts here, just a huge engine, a chassis and a seat. There are some cars that you just won't see anywhere else. We appear to have here a Lancia Lambda. It's up for sale. Some huge Marshall lamps. These are French lamps on the front. Now this lives not too far away from us. This is a Chalmers, another American based car, although it's somewhat modified compared to how it probably was originally. Very much in the sort of the late teens era, I'm guessing. A speedster design. Again, very few creature comforts, just a wonderful old trunk on the back. I do like that. A couple of very comfortable looking seats. Here's the controls. The Chalmers Motor Company, Detroit, Michigan. What an epic car that must be to ride in. Wow. No brakes on the front, just like a Model T or even a Dodge at home. No brakes on the front, so you're totally reliant on the brakes built into the rear hubs over here. So again, like little Dodge, which is obviously American as well, this has got the contracting band on the outside of the brake drum, which, in the Dodge's case at any rate, this is connected to the foot brake, the foot pedal rather. And the handbrake, or emergency brake as they were called, that operates a separate set of linings inside the drum, and they expand, and between them they slow you down. All good fun. Even the race car trailers are adorned with interesting things. Well, let's have a wander around the vintage paddock then. And we've got a lovely Lagonda here, quite a small car, quite a compact little car. At first I thought it might be a Rapier, but it says Lagonda, so we'll go with that. What a beautiful little car that is next to that. An equally delectable Riley, OY2717. It's all very informal in these paddock areas, like Loton Park and other VSCC events, and that's what makes it so good. The Riley here. What do we have over here? Riley again, such a popular choice. There's always plenty of Rileys at these VSCC events, but here's something a little bit different. This is a Morgan, a much modified Morgan. Morning. And what do we have here? A Triple M Racing prepared MG. Supercharger again hung out the front. Huge brakes as befits any competition car. That is a great little car, that is. Over here we've got a Wolseley Hornet Special. Hornet, of course, is a name that applied to the much later Wolseleys, the mini-base cars, but originally that name was used on the pre-war saloons and in this case the Specials, which were sporting versions, 6-cylinder cars. Very rakish machines. You can often tell the side view. They have all these extra louvers down the side here, which there are many louvers on the side of the Wolseley Hornet Specials, and that's usually a giveaway. We've got a Frazer Nash here, again very popular with sort of vintage hill climb meetings. Huge wide track at the front, much narrower rear axle, chain drive. Can't see too much of this one because it's still covered up. It's still very damp, so I'm not surprised. Got a Riley with a Frazer Nash GN.
Where you? Yes.
This is based on an Elvis. Wow, there's plenty going on here. Over here we've got another beautifully turned out Riley. What a stunning car that is. Someone asked in the previous Loton Park video what these particular little bars on the front here, well, these are the timing markers, and these break the beam at the beginning of the run and the end of the run. So when you start your run, which is just over there, you line up until this sort of just about breaks the beam, and then obviously you're timed between breaking the beam at the bottom of the course and the beam at the top of the course, and that's your overall time for the run. So yes, that's what those are for. So you'll see all the competing cars here today with one of these poking out of the front. That looks like a huge amount of fun though. What a great car. Everywhere you look there are just fantastic vintage machines parked up here, there and everywhere. You know, a day out at a meeting like this, it was what, £15 a ticket or something, free for under 16s. I mean, what a great way to spend the day for negligible cost. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to go and watch a game of football. I'm sure it's much more than that, and that's 90 minutes. Whereas you can spend all day here being surrounded by wonderful vintage cars, so it seems like an excellent way of spending a very small amount of money. Something interesting comes out of the gloom, appears out of the gloom on this slightly foggy morning. That sounds quite fruity. The bonnet's raised on this wonderful special here, and I found the owner, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about this incredible engine.
So this is a 1925 GN chassis and a 1928 de Havilland Gypsy aero-engine.
That's incredible.
Which is a 6.1 litre 4-cylinder air-cooled. Roughly 180 horsepower at 2,400 revs.
Wow.
Which equates to about 380 pounds-feet of torque, and it's chain drive.
So how long's this been built up in this form?
It was completed in 2016,
Right.
four-year project, and we've been enjoying it ever since. So
That's incredible.
So
when it was in the aircraft?
yes, when this was in the aircraft, it was inverted with the cylinders below. So no good for a car. So we've turned him up the other way and also back to front because the clutch and flywheel replaces the propeller.
Carburetors, what are those?
Those are Amel GP carburetors that they used to use on the 500 Manx Nortons and the Gold Star BSAs.
Wow.
But with an SU style float chamber, because they don't work very well with a pressure fed type system. So, that's why we've done that.
So where did you find the engine?
Somebody in the club was selling it. He got other projects and he wasn't doing much with any of them, so I bought the engine off him.
Wow.
And
the chassis
off another guy in the club, which is a 1925 GN chassis. It's a very simple channel section.
What an incredible car.
So those cylinder heads that you're looking at, I had those made specially out of billet aluminium. They're cross flow and much larger valves, hemi combustion chamber, and high lift rockers to give us more performance.
And the rest of the transmission going to the back?
Rest of the transmission is a 2-to-1 reduction in the gearbox at the back, because this engine only revs very slowly and you're never going to get the ratios you want with the chains and sprockets alone. So normally a GN would be 3.5 to 1 reduction. This is a 2-to-1 reduction, so we've got something like 120 mile an hour at 2,400 revs in fourth.
So is it still chain drive then?
Still chain drive, 4 chains, 4 sets of sprockets,
Brilliant. What a car that is. Is this the first car that you've come across that's been engined with this unit, or was this done back in the day?
Well, there is one other car which was based on a big Riley which has gone to the States, but there are a couple of cars in the club which have got a Cirrus engine in, which was one manufactured
I've heard of that.
similar sort of period, 30s, which was a Cirrus but they went out of business, and de Havilland really wanted their own engine that they could keep, control of. So that's where this Gypsy series came from.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for the quick
right
intro to your wonderful car.
No, pleasure.
That's incredible, that is. I love that. Here's that glorious Elvis that pulled in before, sounding mighty fruity. Do I? Well, I'll make my way around to the other side. I've been advised to go around the other side. Wow, many SUs.
That's just so nice.
Lurking under here, I believe, is a Bugatti, but hopefully we'll see it a little bit later with the cover off. But you can just see the wheel there, the special aluminium wheels. And that tells you that it's one of Molsheim's favourites under here. Right, so I just come over to have a look at Cognac, which is a very famous GN-based car, and the owner is going to tell us a little bit more about where that name came from on the car. So,
well, the car was originally built by a chap called Cohen in 1925, and it has a GN chassis and a 2-litre AC engine.
yeah.
Hence COGN AC Cognac.
And this is, when was this built up? When was this built?
Built in 1925.
Wow.
And the AC engine was originally created in 1919 and went through in a very similar form right through to the 1960s. So the 2-litre AC engine is very long-lived indeed.
Right, yeah.
This was originally, it was subsequently owned by a chap called Ron Footit, and he owned it for a number of years, did a lot of races in it. It then went to a chap called Freddie Giles, and Freddie Giles did a lap of Loton Park in the car just after Ron Footit died, holding a box with Ron Footit's ashes in it, sprinkling them along the track as he went round, and that's known in motorsport folklore as Ron Footit's last race.
So was that his local circuit, was it?
He raced everywhere. It just happened to be there.
So is the steering sort of offset slightly? Is it sort of a bit of a...
No, the steering's okay.
Right.
It's got a full pressurised fuel system. So the pump that you see there,
Right.
I have to pump that and pressurise the entire system, which makes sure that the fuel flows through to the carburettor.
Right, got you. And how long have you owned this for then?
I've owned this for about 4 years.
Right.
It's chain driven, so that all the gears are chain
Right, so
gears,
Right.
So it's a solid back axle. So when you go around a corner, one wheel is trying to go around faster than the other.
yeah.
So you slide it round every corner.
So it's much narrower at the back compared to the front, isn't
absolutely,
it? I mean, it's really, there's a big difference, isn't there, between the front and the back?
Yes, definitely.
But no, that's a glorious car. Let's just have a quick peek inside, and then. So what have we got here then? So what's this garage's sign here? The plaque there.
That was Ron Footit's garage.
Oh, was it?
This is the pressure gauge for the tank. So if I press this a few times,
Yeah. Starts to. Oh, I see. Yeah.
the pressure gauge starts to move.
Yeah.
And that'll come right around about 20.
Got you.
And at that point I'll be able to start the car.
So how often do you have to repressurise on a run, say like here at Loton Park?
Well, once I pressurise it, it'll be okay for the run.
Yeah.
And then I release all the pressure at the end of each run, just to save the pressure.
Right, I see. Oh, it's fantastic. Well, thanks very much for the quick intro to your magnificent car. Bit of spannering going on with this Riley.
Interesting, yeah. My old GM, I had problems with
Got a few traction issues of my own at the moment. There's a bit of a pause in proceedings because there's still fog at the top of the course. So we'll have a quick scoot around the rest of the paddock area while we're waiting, just for the fog to lift a little bit more. So there's quite a few cars already out and about, engines running and so on. But I didn't have a look up here when I had a quick walk around before, so let's just have a quick look. Frazer Nashes here, we saw this one being bump started before. Sure, accompanied by a Frazer Nash. Fantastic little cars there. Another one here. Another GN. Over here, the famous ERA, one of not that many ERAs produced before the war. The ERA was founded by Raymond Mays, who later went on to found BRM, of course. But pre-war, it was ERA, English Racing Automobiles. What a fantastic car. These were Brooklands and all the hill climbs pre and post-war. There'd always be a gaggle of ERAs in attendance with various drivers tackling the course, various different iterations of ERA over the years. But if you ask someone to draw like a vintage racing car, this is probably the shape of what they would end up drawing. An absolutely glorious car. Whereas single-seaters like this ERA were the sort of staple diet really of hill climbing pre-war, it wasn't too long after the war that these little rear-engine single-seaters started to become popular, little 500cc races. We've got a couple of them here today at Loton Park. Usually motorcycle engine hidden under the rear there, so rear-engine. Cooper was probably the main producer of these little 500cc races, but there were others, Kieft and so on. We've got another one over here. This one's showing off its engine, so we can have a quick peek under there. This is a Cooper. It's got a JAP motorcycle engine hiding away in there. We can just about see that. There's a very distinctive cast wheels on the Coopers. Back to the Edwardian paddock for a moment. We've got the Pictet, or the Pick. This is a very famous VSCC aero-engined racer, and a glorious machine it is too. All exposed valve train on the top of the engine there. What a glorious, glorious car this is. Harley spotted this little brass plaque on the engine, dated 1918, US Army. What an amazing vehicle. If you haven't already seen it, please also check out the video we did last year, 2021, here at Loton Park for the Vintage Sports Car Club Hill Climb. It's the detail on these proper vintage machines is what really catches my attention. I just love these. You've got these extra little, presumably little oiling spots on the top of the rocker assemblies. The instrumentation. Something very loud has just fired up at the other end of the Edwardian paddock. What do we have here? An Amel car.
So you might get half a turn on it, or
Lovely little car. Again, Marshall lamps on this one. Exterior mounted hooter. A proper klaxon. Another Riley over here showing off its engine. Got some vital statistics under the bonnet as well. Oh, we're heading cross country now back to the little MX-5 because it's lunch break time now, so we'll have a quick bite to eat and then we'll see what happens this afternoon. Next to this lovely little MGA coupe, we've got a Swiss-registered Jaguar Mk10 left-hand drive car. We saw this pulling in before. What a magnificent car that is. You can tell it's a Mark 10 because it hasn't got the strips down the side. If it had the strips down the side, it would be the slightly later 420G with a 4.2 litre XK engine, but this has the 3.8. What a fantastic bit of kit that is. I haven't seen one of these in ages. What a car to do a pan-European trip in. Never seen mirrors like this either. What a great old Jaguar that is. That is absolutely fantastic. Oh, that's an old number plate. For many years these were the widest cars on sale here in the UK. You can see just how much the bodywork curves out. I imagine some of these modern SUVs are probably a little bit wider now, but they wouldn't have the style of this particular car. What an epic machine. Opposite these two classic cars we've got a gaggle of vintage machinery. We've got an MG saloon here. I'm guessing this is an MG 1880, I think. I could be wrong. Let's have a quick look at the registration. A noisy diesel Volvo coming past, so I apologise for that in advance. Wow, what a beautiful car that is. And it's got one of these Tapley meters on the dashboard mounted, so you can sort of check. I think it's either for testing your brakes or for the incline of the hill. That's a stunning car, that is. Next to that is a Fiat van. A vintage Fiat van. Nissan diesel coming past now. What an incredible little vehicle this is. Obviously 1920s. Alongside those two gems, got a little Riley, Monaco I think. Another Riley, MGB Roadster, Riley. Frazer Nash BMW. Got a Morgan here. Morgan Aero. Stunning old Vauxhall as well. Very smart Series 1 E-Type here. Fixed head coupe, of course. Nice painted wires. That's what we like, painted wires. We do, don't we? Cracking Riley. Beauty that is, isn't it? Elvis. Looks like a 1250, doesn't it? Another one there. Wolseley, there's another 6-cylinder Hornet. Riley special on a trailer here. Spot of rain in the air. There's a Frazer Nash.
Yeah, this is that one.
Sebring Sprite by the look of it. So basically loosely race prepared. You've got a fiberglass front, fiberglass rear, fiberglass roof.
Does it all come up? The whole
Yeah, the whole front end flips up. Yeah. Well, the Mark 1 Sprites have a fully opening front end, don't they?
I just thought if it was fine.
Yeah. It's always well worth walking around the parking areas. We've got a Delta Integrale and a fantastic Sunbeam. So as this is a vintage car meet, we'll focus mainly on the vintage cars, I think. Yes, Deltas were all left-hand drive. The Integrale is wonderful step. Fantastic. Yeah. And the fake sort of pram irons on the roof. Left-hand drive MGC, 3 litre goodness under this raised humped bonnet. And at the very top of the car park here at Loton Park, we've got a J-registered Series 2 Jaguar E-Type fixed head coupe A.
To pull them out with more effect.
Looking very enthusiastic. I guess you're in there.
Quiet if you want, just hold yourself up and move your
Well, thank you very much for watching this particular video, ladies and gentlemen. That was a great day out at Loton Park, the VSCC's Loton Park Speed Hill Climb meeting for 2022. And there'll be more videos along very, very soon, so bye for now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to invite you to join us for the awards presentation up by the bar in 10 minutes.